much for joining me. Today is day 3 of our favorite fabrics for fall sewing event with Ellie and Mac. And today we're going to be talking about 2 lighter weight knits that I like to use especially for layering. Now fall is one of those seasons where we like to put maybe a drapey top or a dress on, throw a cardigan over, have some leggings. You really play with those layers. It gives you some of the funnest outfits of the entire year, in my opinion. It's my favorite season by far to dress for. And so the 2 that we are going to be talking about are bamboo and double brushed poly. So all the fabrics that you're going to see in our event this week are from Sincerely Riley Fabrics. So pop on over to her shop and take a look at those. She's got some really beautiful fabrics and so many options for all of your fall sewing needs. And of course, all of the patterns that we're talking about today are going to be Ellie and Mac patterns. The dress that I am wearing today is a sweetie pie dress, and this beauty that you see on the mannequin is the 90s dress. Now that is just a couple of the options. We'll talk about some more patterns that you can use with these fabrics, and so let's go ahead and get started. So there's 2 big differences in the composition of the 2 fabrics that we're talking about today. Well, they are both really lovely lightweight drapey knits. The bamboo is going to be a natural fiber. Now a lot of people like wearing natural fibers. They tend to be a lot more breathable, and I would say that that is going to be the biggest difference between our 2 layering knits that we're comparing today, is that bamboo, being a natural fiber, is going to give you that breathability, where double brushed poly is typically going to have less breathability to it, being a polyester fabric. Now that can actually work in your favor because it does like to hold in warmth. So if you live somewhere that is colder, for example, your double brush poly can definitely help with keeping you warm. If you're wearing maybe like a mini length or a tunic length dress or top, you can wear double brushed poly leggings, and those will also be a little bit warmer of an option, so that is something to keep in mind. There's definitely pros and cons to both, but your bamboo obviously is bamboo. Natural fiber and double brushed poly is going to be a polyester. Now both of these fabrics, because of those compositions, are going to have fantastic stretch to them. So you can see that this has really amazing horizontal and vertical stretch. It's going to work really well for your leggings. Your double brushed poly especially has really great recovery, and so it is going to be fantastic for any fitted garments. Now if you're going to a maybe a more formal event and want a bodycon fitted style of dress, either of these fabrics are going to be really great for that, because those compositions allow for a lot of stretch and good recovery. So bamboo specifically is going to be one of my favorite natural fiber fabrics, just because it does have that beautiful breathability, and it's got really wonderful drape. I would say it's definitely on par with the double brushed poly as far as drape goes. You've got a really nice flow. It's going to work really well for anything that you need to gather like this, whereas some of the heavier fabrics that we talked about in the last 2 videos are going to be a little bit too thick to gather. If you want to wear those types of fabrics in fall, these are fantastic options. And bamboo also is a little bit more durable. Now, you can group a rayon spandex, for example, into this family of lightweight drapier knits, but what you get with bamboo is a little bit more durability. So I like that because your garments are going to last longer, and who doesn't love that? As far as sewing with these fabrics go, they are fairly easy fabrics to sew with. Now, if you have a sewing machine and you run into problems with getting them started because they are both thin knits, what you can do is put a little piece of tissue paper between your fabric and the actual plate, and that helps get it started. And other than that, your typical knit fabric recommendations, like using a stretch or a ballpoint needle. Now those needles, it's important that you're using stretch or ballpoint needles in your sewing machine or your serger. So make sure that you're changing those needles out regularly, and you're going to have the best results that way. I personally only ever use regular thread. I know that if you have a serger, some people like to use stretch thread when sewing with fabrics that are this stretchy. It's not necessary in my opinion. I've never used it, never had an issue, but if you do want a little bit more give when sewing with your knits, you can certainly try that out. That is to say it depends on your settings and kind of what your preferences are. So I typically will just change, obviously using coordinated threads, I will just change the thread color to match whatever it is that I'm sewing. Or if you like to have a little secret, I just sewed a dress yesterday that was black and I used bright green bobbin thread. Partially because I was too lazy to change it, but partially because when you look inside the dress, it's just kind of fun, you know, it's my own little touch. So coordinating threads, stretch needles, those kinds of things are going to be your best bet. And if you do ever have any questions on sewing with any of the knits that we're talking about this week, feel free to pop those in the comments below. So for patterns that you want to sew with these two knits, your best bet is going to be anything with drape. So our twisted up top where you have the knot in the front, it's a really fun, very on-trend pattern right now. That is going to be perfect because you have a light enough fabric that you can do those kinds of details without it getting too bunched up. Something that you don't necessarily want to use these lightweight flowy knits for is going to be joggers, for example. They don't have the structure to hold a shape like a jogger pant would. They're just going to kind of fall, and that's a huge benefit when you're working with a dress. It's going to fit really flowy and really nicely and hang really nicely, but you're not going to have that structure. So take into account the characteristics of your fabric when you are choosing what you want, what fabric you want to use with what pattern. And you can always ask us in the Facebook group. It's also a great tip to go in and in the search bar in our Facebook group, you can search for double brush poly. DBP is what it's called a lot of the time, or bamboo, and see what other people have made with them. Also, on the thread of this video, you're going to see a lot of examples in our Facebook group, if you're watching the video in our Facebook group, because if you go ahead during the event and post a photo of bamboo or DBP makes, then you're entered to win a Ellie and Mac or a Sincerely Riley gift card. So this is also a great place to find some inspiration. Your care for these fabrics is going to be very similar to just about all the other fabrics that we've talked about, and that is that you're going to want to wash them with like fabrics. So your bamboos, your rayons, your DBP, those kinds of things can be washed together. Don't wash them with jeans or towels or anything like that because you don't want the abrasive fabric rubbing up against your beautiful, delicate, flowy fabrics. And other than that, I like to usually wash mine on delicate, and if there's ever a fabric that I am concerned about, I will put it in one of those lingerie bags that you can get from Bed Bath & Beyond or Walmart or wherever it is, and that will also help protect your garment from anything else that you might be washing it with, but don't wash them with jean or anything really abrasive like that. Well, that wraps it up for day 3 of our layering knits for fall, and I hope you guys got some good tips and tricks for sewing with bamboo and double brushed poly. They are both really wonderful fabrics for layering for fall, and it is one of my favorite parts about fall is all of the really cute layered clothes, all the fun outfits, and how cozy everything is. So hopefully this inspired you if you haven't tried these fabrics already, and if you have, then you know how great they are. So go ahead and pop either of your makes in bamboo or double brush poly in the comments of Ellie and Mac patterns for a chance to win a gift card to either one of our shops, and hop over to Sincerely Riley to take a look at all of her beautiful, beautiful fabrics and take advantage of all of those awesome mystery bundles that are on sale for this event. And yes, we will see you tomorrow for our day 4, and thanks again.